Hey guys, Super Rugby Pacific round 9 is done and dusted. The fantasy points are locked in. In this video, I'll take a look at which players performed the best, which players underperformed, and after that, in a new segment, I will also take a look at how your teams performed. If you've joined my league, the link is in the description. If you haven't joined yet, we'll take a look and see who performed the best this round. I'm really interested to see what picks you guys made. Before that though, a quick look at my team and how I went this week. And yeah, as you can see, really not a great week for me again. I really invested heavily in Chiefs players, especially in the back line. I really expected them to go over to Sydney and blast the Waratahs. Instead, we got this gigantic upset. I did not see this coming at all. The Chiefs really were not good, and yeah, I really got punished in fantasy for investing so heavily in them. And yeah, I mean, D-Mac, he was so bad, only 9 points this week. That's probably how many times he knocked the ball on. Had him as my captain, but really not a big deal because pretty much everyone does this. Everyone picks Mackenzie, everyone makes him their captain. It's not a huge blow when he underperforms. Really what got me though is probably the Sean Stevenson pick. Started on the right wing, moved to fullback later. Really didn't get a lot going though, only 15 points. I was really coin flipping between him and Nareki, which would have helped me out a little bit, but yeah, I just really had the wrong read on this game. Did not expect the Chiefs to flub it like that. Otherwise, other team I invested in pretty big was the Blues over Moana. A couple of forwards, couple of backs, and the Blues, they did well in that game. They did score a few points, but it wasn't like a super open game. It was a bit of a grindy game. A lot of the points came through the forwards, and in the backs, the Blues, they really played quite conservatively. They'd kick the ball back. They'd play the kicking dual game. They weren't trying to run it from deep. They weren't trying to play out of their own half, and yeah, that's kind of reflected in the backs, really not doing that well. Talia got 30, but he even got a try. So this is a really low score for a back that got a try. There's just no line breaks or anything in there. And yeah, my Corey Evans punt at fullback really did not pay off this week at all. And up front, Riccatelli actually did pretty well. Got himself a maul try. Very good line out thrower. Got a probably above average score out of him. So 2-2. Also got a try, still only getting 33 points. So yeah, kind of bit of a lesson there. The Blues, even when they're gonna perform well, probably not gonna be good for a lot of points, especially in the backs. And otherwise, not a lot going on. Really wasn't sure what else to do with my back row this week. Went with Adi. He's proven he can be strong in a losing effort. Didn't work out this week. Miracle Failangi, he was my softest pick. Ended up doing better than Severe because he got a try, but yeah, not amazing here. Fakatava also was a bit of a gamble on my part, picking him over Roygard, who is super solid, and kind of disappointed he only got 20 points. I thought watching the game he might be good for a bit more. He did not get credited for any line breaks, which is kind of interesting because he did actually make a few breaks, but I think what was happening in the Highlanders in general that game, they're doing this a lot. They were making these breaks and then they would just put boot to ball and kick him behind and chase the kick, and it really wasn't working for him. And I think he wasn't getting credited for those breaks because he was doing that as well. And beyond that, not a lot going on with the rest of my team. So we'll go back and take a look at the players and see who the movers and shakers were this week. Yeah, if we start off looking at all positions here, really interesting thing this week. Not a lot of huge scores overall, but also really not a lot of outside backs in the top scorers. Lots of hookers, bunch of midfielders. Even got Scott Barrett turning up after getting called out on the breakdown. Jacob Radamaitavuki-Neekins, the only outside back, really making it to the top, which is kind of interesting considering this is his first game back after a really long layoff. He did look pretty good, didn't even score a try and still got 60 points. So he was on my radar. I mentioned him in my best picks video, but I was kind of scared to pick him because yeah, after being on that long a layoff, I thought he'd get subbed for Sam Gilbert. didn't happen. Nareki would have been my preferred pick, but yeah, Radamai Tavuki-Nikins would have outplayed him. So good to see that he is still in form, and he is a guy we need to keep in mind going forward. But I mean, the big talking point for fantasy this week is Ioane Moananu, 92 points, got his 2 tries, but still look at all these categories he is scoring in. Like, this whole year, this guy's been really impressive because he's obviously good at his core role, never screws up any of his lineouts. So rare will you see a negative for a lineout error in here, but he's just really good around the park. He loves to get the ball in hand and run. He's got good pace, and he's got that sort of stocky low center of gravity that also makes him good at the rucks as well. Got a turnover here. It's not uncommon for him to get those, but so far he hasn't really cracked a huge amount of points despite how well he's been performing. But yeah, this game he got it going. He got those 2 tries and they just pushed him up. And yeah, we really got to keep this guy in mind going forward in fantasy. He really is a top tier pick now in that hooker slot, especially with the Crusaders looking really strong. The Maul looked really strong on the weekend as well against the Canes. I mean, maybe it's just the Canes Maul defense, but in general, we haven't seen, teams really dominating at Maul a lot this year. I mean, obviously there's been more tries, but most teams have been able to defend it kind of decently. It's not like previous years where hookers just dominated the top scoring stats. So yeah, definitely a guy who is firmly on the radar. Second spot, look, there's a bit of daylight here between first and second, but second spot again goes to another hooker, again getting 2 tries. So this was a game that was played in a wet, not too surprising to see that there. And then we have Umanga Jensen, a midfielder, 67. Again, like, there's a lot of midfielders in here getting heaps of points. And that wasn't a losing effort where the Canes were kind of getting shut out as well. So really did not expect that, just like I didn't expect to see Paisami this high up as well. 60 points again with only 1 try, playing in the wet. Riccatelli, 61. Pretty good score for a hooker, but actually comes off 3rd best in that hooker slot. So yeah, can't really be mad at that. But yeah, again, not the top pick for the slot. Scott Barrett getting a huge score for a lock. Didn't even get a try, but yeah, two try assists. Like, that's pretty damn impressive, especially after they talk shit about him on the breakdown. Good on him for coming back strong. And another interesting one here, Joseph Suali'i. I mean, we already knew how good this guy is. We saw him came back after the layoff, get a good score in a tough game against the Canes, then get a huge score in a game where they looked good, at least in that first half against Moana, and then again in this upset against the Chiefs. Not a huge scoring game, but still, only the 1 try, did very well to get to 57 points. And yeah, he's pretty much a lock in the midfield going forward. We really don't need to see too much more. He's proven to be strong in losing efforts as well as winning efforts. So yeah, I mean, he probably shoots straight to the top of the list as long as he starts at fullback. I mean, we have seen him start at 13 once, but he very quickly moved to fullback after I think Callaway got injured. So do keep an eye on that on the team sheets, just in case he does move back to 13. That will affect his prospects. He'll probably still be good, but yeah, it will probably bring his score down a bit. And we'll have a look now in each position as well, just to see what we missed. Another interesting thing here in the outside backs, Ravu Talmanda and Lagana Masi both doing really well. I did expect that Highlanders versus Endura game to be kind of open and high scoring. I was kind of scared to pick players in it though, just because these teams are so erratic. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, it did turn out to be a very open game, and the Highlanders, they were kicking so much ball in behind that it really gave the Endura a back 3 a lot of opportunities to counter-attack. And that's exactly what they did. And they were kind of carving the Highlanders up for some periods in that game, but the Highlanders just kept doing that. They kept going back to that well. So that is something we can sort of learn, that the Highlanders, they do favor that kick in behind option. And yeah, it might be a good idea when a good team has gone up against the Highlanders to maybe weight higher the back three in that opposition team, because they could be getting fed a bit more ball. And overall, not huge scores for the outside backs this week. Another one that was interesting though was AJ Lamb managing 45 points when he actually plays at 12. So yeah, it's a shame he doesn't get listed or moved into the midfield. He probably would actually be one of the better picks in there, but good for him to getting high up the list this week, playing in that position. And if we have a quick look at the top selected as well, so we can see who sort of underperformed. Will Jordan, only 25. Sevu Reece, only 31. Could have been worse, but you're probably hoping for a lot more picking those two, which everyone was doing this week. And yeah, I did say that I thought that Crusaders Canes game would be close and wouldn't necessarily be high scoring, at least in the backs. And that was kind of true. I mean, the game didn't actually go the way I expected, because in reality, the Crusaders, they really did crush the Canes. And yeah, the referee had a bit to say later in the piece. He kind of tried to hand the game to the Canes on a platter, and they were not able to take advantage of that. But either way, yeah, Jordan and Reece not really performing in that game, but it's always tough in these derby games, right? Like, you don't just get to spread the ball and carve through the defenses. It's just not how it works. And of course, Sevu Reece, he was forced to move into the midfield after Macca Springer, I believe, got injured. So bad luck if you pick Sevu Reece this week. You really didn't get the opportunity to get the points you were probably looking for. Tavanawa getting picked again. Good matchup to pick him, but again, he's Mr. Consistent. Like in between that sort of 30 to 40 range, all of his scores are like nothing outside that range, no matter what the game's like, win or lose, tight, high scoring, low scoring. Like, if you ever just want, 35 points, 40 points in your back three, well, he's your guy. There's no ceiling, there's no floor. It's just 40 points with him. And yeah, Mark Telea, I was feeling pretty comfortable when I made this pick, when I made this recommendation, because yeah, I did think the Blues would hand it to the Moana. They kind of did. But again, I talked about this before. Most of it happened up front. Like it really didn't happen in the backs. And yeah, going forward, I mean, I was never really big on picking Blues players, but yeah, this just makes it even tougher to pick them going forward, unless they're really up against a really flimsy defense, like, the Force or the Draw or something. And yeah, a lot of people still kind of picking these Brumbies back three, and yeah, it's just it was always going to be a tough game for the back three. Like I said, that game would really be focused on the forwards. It would be a bit of an arm wrestle. And I also mentioned in the best picks video that there was a good chance of rain, which there was. So that always does put a bit of a damper on things for the outside backs in those matchups. Moving on to the midfield though, let's look at the top scorers. It was Peter Umaga-Jensen, already mentioned. Hunter Paisami as well. Quite a surprise. I like this player, but you look at his scores, like he really hasn't done a lot until this game, but just the way the game played out, yeah, he did really well. Don't know if it changes his prospects moving forward for fantasy. I don't think I will be picking him more necessarily. And the big reason is, I mean, Suoli'i's really just established himself as a lock. They're taking on the Fijian Drua next. I feel like he's going to have a field day, especially if he starts at 15. Beyond that, Walton also doing really well. Just things were happening for the Waratahs this game. Didn't even get a try here. made a bunch of tackles, tries, just dipping into a lot of categories here. And yeah, it's just because the Waratahs, they did really well in that matchup. Almoa actually doing pretty decent for once as well. Not really consistent enough for me to change my thoughts about whether or not I want to pick him. Paco also doing pretty well, just the same as Paisami did. Yeah, just when things are working in the midfield, you know, sometimes it works for both of them. Masi and Taborvo both doing pretty well this week as well. Again, like that Drua versus Highlanders game, it was just a nice open game, lots of running, and yeah, they benefit from that. Tapia not doing so great, but yeah, like we said, really unexpected result for the Chiefs going up against the Waratahs. Everyone had him this week, didn't work out. Next cab off the rank was Sua'ali'i, and yeah, he was the obvious choice, and you got rewarded for picking him this week as well. I thought he would go well, but I thought he'd still be like a sort of, you know, maybe high 30s, just because I did think the Chiefs would really dominate that game. But no, that when the Tars aren't getting dominated, he is getting high scores. So yeah, really can't ignore that. Amazingly, Rico's still getting picked a lot, and yeah, I mean, look at these scores. Like, even though it was Moana this week, he would, yeah, he really just, he is not the option. A lot of people picking Havili. Fortunately, he did go off injured, I believe, so yeah, really unfortunate if you went that direction. Crusaders did well that game. He probably would have done decently as well. I think Iki Tau went off injured as well. Yeah, only 1 point. He went off really early, so bad luck on that front as well. Fly halves top this week was Bowden Barrett. And yeah, I think this guy, he was a pretty clear second option if you weren't going for McKenzie, but it was just too hard to ignore McKenzie this week. Going into a game, starting at fullback against a team that they were expected to be quite handily on a dry track. Can't look past McKenzie. Didn't work out though, and yeah, Bowden Barrett, he did pretty good otherwise, 54 points. And yeah, he's a guy who stays on the radar as well. He has been doing well, starting at 10. Interesting that Roberto is here, because I believe when he came on, he didn't play 10. Correct me if I'm wrong. It looked like he went into the outside backs. Possibly might have been due to an injury. So interested to get clarity on that one, because yeah, if he ever gets a start outside of the 10 slot, he's a guy to kind of look at seriously, I think. Now moving on to the halfbacks. Everybody's boy Cam Roigard, 37. Pretty good in a losing effort, even though you might have hoped for a bit more out of him. But as it turns out, I mean, he was second rank for the slot anyway, so just can't complain. Teddy Wilson with the 45 again. Like, this guy's been pretty good lately. He's been getting the starts, and yeah, he's no slouch, man. Like, he can get around with the ball. He can make breaks, and got a couple of tries in 2 games. So he is a guy that's on the radar. I still don't know when I would pick him, unless it was, well, the Tars are playing me in Drua. I mean, look, maybe that would be an option, but looks like the Hurricanes are going to be playing the Force. So again, it's going to be hard to look past Roigard next week, but still keeping him in mind on the radar. Noah Hotham, he's a guy I'm also big on. Thought he might go better this game considering how well the Crusaders went, but again, we talked about this earlier. Even though the Crusaders went well, it wasn't like a super open game where teams were just carving each other up at will. Looking at the loose forwards now, lots of, you know, kind of decent scores from loose forwards this week. Peter Lakai, he's a guy who's good, but hasn't really performed on the fantasy front. This is the first time he's really put up a big score. A lot of that is due to getting that try, but even without the try, it would have been his biggest score as well. So nice to see him doing well. Jacobson Also, another guy who hasn't really been putting up big points until the last 2 weeks. And yeah, he was pretty immense this game as well, unlike a lot of other Chiefs players. So he's kind of forced his way onto the radar for fantasy as well. Honestly, I probably would have picked him instead of Failangi if I hadn't already loaded up on Chiefs in my back. So yeah, he's definitely a guy to keep in mind. Valentini actually getting 45, did get that try. Still not a fan of Valentini in general, it's just because he's that pure battering ram. Like, he doesn't really get points from anything else unless he's bulldozing over for that try. This round he did pretty good because he got these 2 turnovers, but yeah, in general, still not big on Valentini. But look, if he keeps getting good scores, I'll pay more attention, but he's definitely not there yet. Tanaka Ivada was actually pretty busy in that game. Surprised he only came away with the 40 points, but yeah, look at this, 10 defeaters beaten. Like, they were giving him so much ball and he was running at the defensive line and he was constantly making meters and just dragging guys with him. So not surprised to see this stat, but yeah, I am still kind of surprised that he didn't end up with more points because of it. So yeah, another guy that I've always liked, but he just doesn't put up big points, so it's hard to kind of pick him. And if we have a look at the most selected as well, which will be interesting, I found it really hard to pick my back rowers this week. I ended up just sticking with Failangi just because I couldn't decide. Looks like a lot of other people did the same as well. I didn't love it because, yeah, just I thought the Pacifica would struggle against the Blues, which they did, and of course as a result neither him nor Artie did that great. Looks like a lot of people actually went for Karifi and McWright, who had pretty average scores, low 30s. A few people also going for Dalton as well, again a sort of low 30s score. So no one really cashing in this week with the back rowers, unfortunately. But yeah, just a really tough week to make choices in that category. Now onto the locks, and yeah, Scott Barrett, they were rubbishing him in the media and he acknowledged it, said, yeah, you're right, I'm not doing good enough. And then he just came out and put on this massive game, couple of steals, try assists, line breaks, defenders beaten. Yeah, the best the best game we've seen out of him all season. Like, honestly, these guys in the media, they're just gonna start ripping into people even more because of that. Yeah, quite a bit of daylight between him though and the rest. Tuipulotu second with 34, did get a try, so that kind of pad things out about. Fabian Holland also 34, but without a try. 25 tackles, which is gymongous, and yeah, you saw him throughout the game. He was really scrambling quite hard, which was impressive to see from a big man. Later in the game, you'd expect him to gas out, and people were gassing out that game, but yeah, he wasn't giving up. That's always impressive to see. I did actually like Josh Berry's performance in that game. Didn't get a lot of points for his troubles, so kind of interesting to see that. But yeah, you can see he doesn't get a lot of line out ball, which, yeah, I mean, even if he did, it wouldn't change that much. But not a lot to learn here, except that maybe Scott Barrett is back on the radar now. Yeah, he's yet another lock to consider, even though it doesn't make that much difference. Now looking at the hookers, we already talked about Moana Nu, huge score for him. He's on the radar now. You have to consider him going forward. Pollard, I'm not a huge fan of. Got 2 tries this week. I mean, they're taking on Moana Pacifica next week. Maybe they'll get the maul going against them as well. We saw the Blues were able to do that successfully, but yeah, I'm still not looking at this guy in general. Riccatelli's still good. Takiaho, man, yeah, he's really not getting the big scores. I kind of hoped he would when he came back, and he hasn't been getting a lot of starts this year, but yeah, really waiting for him to sort of step up and put a decent score on the board. So he kind of is sliding back down the pecking order for me. And another guy is sliding down the pecking order as well, Asafa Moore. Honestly, he has not been good this year. And look at this, these line-out errors. Like the Canes line-out has been so bad, and it is really letting the team down in a big way. Like it's just so hard to win rugby games when your line-out is misfiring that often. And, you know, it's not always the hooker's fault, but yeah, until that line-out sorts itself out, I'm just going to be steering clear of Almore. That said, they are playing the Force next week, so watch this space, wait for the best picks video. And with the props, we actually have Ala Toa topping the scoring. He did get a try. His partner in crime Slipper is there as well. They did get a lot of points for these scrums going their way. And after that, yeah, it's sort of much of a muchness. All the guys in the 20s. Really nothing to talk about there when it comes to prop. Seeing who people picked. A lot of people actually picking Ala Toa, which is kind of surprises me a little bit. But yeah, he's been good in recent weeks, and it really paid off big this week as well. So yeah, well done you if you were onto that pick. I certainly was not. Now let's jump across to the league and have a look and see who did well this week. Let's have a look at your teams. Bill NZ has topped the rounds, 581 points. Pretty good for what was overall a low scoring round. And looking at his picks, out in the back three, Radamaitavuki Neekins. Really impressed to see people going for that pick when he was out for so long. But yeah, really paid off there. Sebu Reese, solid pick. Going for Nareki as well. I really like the Nareki pick. I'm a big fan of Nareki. Didn't get gangbusters points this week, but yeah, 43. Considering how outside backs went this week, pretty good. Tapire and Suali'i, the standard picks, really paying off here. Mackenzie and Roygaard, the same thing. In the back row, interesting. Got the Jacobson pick. That is awesome. Also went with Sevilla, pretty solid. Iose, also pretty solid. Holland, Vai, Bell, Moana Nu, and De Groot. And yeah, going for the Moana Nu pick, that was the really big pick that you wanted to make this week. And yeah, feel like NZ identified that one. Well done to you, sir. Stoned Egg, next cab off the rank, 504 points. And in the outside backs, Jordan Carter. And again, another Radamaitavuki Neekins pick. Really loving that people had the balls to go for him week one after being out for a year or whatever. And I was pretty big on Carter. 41 was pretty decent considering how poorly that game went for the Chiefs. I mean, imagine if they played well, he probably would have scored a lot more. Tapire Suali'i, Roygaard, D-Mac, that everyone's gonna have their core four. Sevilla, Satutu, Iose. Yeah, none of the back row is doing that amazing this week. Frost and Vai, two solid lock picks. Went for the Riccatelli pick. Went decently. Ta'aval and Bell. And third place, 499 points, up the Canes. Oh wow, a Ravu Taumunda pick, love it, paid off as well, 54 points. I'm a big fan of Ravu Taumunda as well, but it's been so hard to pick him just because the Endroa are struggling. And also he's been starting at 14 instead of fullback like he did last year, which is where he really did all the damage last year. This game was exceptional though, the Highlanders kicking the ball to that Endroa back three quite a lot, and yeah, he got to strut his stuff because of that. Getting a hollow pick, kind of interesting, but look, his name, it's in the name, Up the Canes. He has picked 4 Hurricanes this week, despite coming up against the Crusaders. I respect the loyalty. Because, yeah, I would not be going for 4 Hurricanes this week otherwise. But, yeah, you can see it really didn't work out for Naholo. did not work out for Amora as well. That line out is just so terrible. Went for the Bowden Barrett pick instead of D-Mac. That is amazing. I would be super interested to know why you did that, because you're not loaded up on Chiefs. Because Up the Canes just hate the Chiefs. That's the only explanation. Why wouldn't you pick D-Mac going up against the Waratahs? He loves the Canes. He hates the Chiefs. He refuses to pick them. If you're watching this, please tell me what the logic is, because if you just hate the Chiefs and don't pick them, I love that. That's amazing. Didn't even go for Tupaia in the midfield. Went for Umaga Jensen. Had Lasanga as well. Like I'm a big fan of Lasanga. He's been playing well. 31 points, not that great, but I mean a lot of back rowers were there this week. And also took a punt as well on the Moana tight head, I think he is. Didn't pay off this week, but talked about it in the video. Even if it only pays off like once every 3 weeks and he scores a try, it's probably still worth it on average. Have a look at the 4th place as well. I'm kind of enjoying this. And Captain Sever Reese, interesting. Will Jordan Havili, got 4 Crusaders picks here. Real big Crusaders fan, but none of the ones that really paid off. Why no Moana new? Interesting. Went for Almora instead. Also went for Barrett over D-Mac. But he is not, Kicked is not a Chiefs hater. He does have Leroy Carter down there. Went same as me as, he went for the all Moana back row. Wow. That is cool. I mean, when you think about it, like it is a really good back row. These are like 3 of it could be the best back row in the competition, at least in terms of athleticism. Didn't pay off this week though, and I think that's brave picking that back row against the Blues as well. We know they're really strong up front. I also had the Alan Alator pick. I love that. Got the 43 points, got the rewards for that. So really interesting team here. And lastly, I will look at Cal 7 in 5th place. Otherwise, I'll be here all day, which I already have been. We got Nareki, Talia, and Jordan. Havili and Tupaia, another one not keen on the Suali'i pick. D-Mac and Roigard, Karifi, Sevilla, and Tutu. Pai Grace. Had the Moananu pick though, got the big 92 points. And that Alan Alatar as well really gave him a big boost to near the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff. And just having a look at the all-rounds leaderboard as well. Okay, Cal 7, he is actually the top player in the league at the moment. So that was his team as well. Interesting. Bill NZ, who also got the top score this round, he is in 2nd place overall. Followed by Matua, Kicked, and Laker Luca. Have a quick look at Matua's team actually, just to see what happened with him this round. Nareki Katari, Suali'i Havili. No faith in Tupaia, or really wanted Tupovai. Interesting. Went for the Numea pick as well. Also went for the Fakatava pick. Cool. Might have done that because you were listening to me, maybe not. So if you're listening to me, I'm sorry. That didn't really work out this week, unfortunately, and probably won't work out next week either, because Roigard's gonna be the guy up against the Force. Anyway guys, that'll do it from me. This has gone on way too long. Hope you enjoyed all the games this week. Hope you had a good round in fantasy as well. I'll see you next time in my best picks video coming out on Thursday, and until then, I hope you have a good week. I'll see you later.